Christina from Creations with Christina, and today's card's going to be done using my brand new fillable frames from Paper Tray Ink. And it has, you could buy the die that coordinates with the stamp set. And this is fillable frames number 3. It came out a while ago, so let's just do a card quick making this, or using these products. I've got my Big Shot out, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut my die on my Big Shot, and you're going to use all of your tabs on your multi-purpose platform, one of your plates, and then your die with a piece. I have just a piece of Paper Tray Ink's vintage cream cardstock in my die, and we're just going to run this through my Big Shot. Just put my other plate on here, and this runs through so smoothly. Okay. Pull this out here, and these are a little tricky to get out, but if you just kind of bend the plate back, you'll be able to pull it right out. So okay, so let's go ahead and start putting our card together. Let me get my Big Shot out of the way, and first I'm going to start with stamping, and grab my clear block, and the first thing I'm going to do is stamp the little frame. I'm just going to put that on my mat and mount it onto my clear block, and I'm going to do that using the Hawaiian Shore ink from Paper Tray Ink, and this is the Perfect Match hybrid ink in the Hawaiian Shore. So I'm just going to go ahead and part of my head if it gets in the way, center this and stamp it right on my image. Okay, but not quite perfectly centered, but good enough. And the next thing I'm going to do is, let me just clean that off with it. And I'm just using a baby wipe to clean off my stamp. Clean that off, and then let's see, I think I'm going to do the Hip Hip Hooray sentiment, and that one's right here. Again, I like to put mine on my mat and then onto my block, and this time I'm going to use the Orange Zest because I'm going to use my October Afternoon Fly a Kite set again. So I'm just going to center that right into the middle of my image here, my cutout. So there we go. Just clean off my stamp. Alright. So that is my stamped image for my card. Let's get these out of my way here so I don't lose any of my stamps. And I stuck them on the wrong side. Okay. So now for the base of my card, I'm going to actually make a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 square card. So it'll fit in a regular envelope, and let me get my paper trimmer out here. So I'm going to cut this 8.5 by 11 on the 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 side at 4 1/4. My blade's getting dull, and I noticed that it seems to make a smoother edge when I go from the bottom to the top. So that'll be my front of my card, and let me get my, I'm going to use my Martha Stewart score pad this time because that's the one that's closest, and I'm going to score that at, let's see, 4 1/4, so that I think is right here. The Martha Stewart bone folder is kind of sharp. I'd rather use a stylus maybe instead for this. So that's the base of my card. The next thing I'm going to do is cut a piece of my Hawaiian Breeze cardstock at 4 by 4. So we're going to cut this down to 4 inches. By 4 inches. So that'll be the mat on my card. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut, because I'm going to use my October Afternoon Fly a Kite paper pad again, and I just used this not too long ago, or actually last week's video. So love this paper. I'll have a link to where you can purchase this over on my blog. And I'm going to cut this down to 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine and do some stitching around the edges. So that's 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive right in the center. I'm not going to do it all the way around, but just in the center of my image, and then mat that right onto the front of my Hawaiian Breeze cardstock. And then I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine and do a little sewing, so I will be right back. Okay, I went ahead and added some zigzag stitching to my front of my card, and the next thing I'm going to do is just add some ribbon, and I'm using some Paper Tray Ink Hawaiian Breeze. Let's see where I can find the end of it. There it is. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a little, I'm going to attempt a bow. Let's see how that goes. Need a little bit more slack on this side. And I successfully tied a bow. Awesome. I'm usually not too good at tying my bows. So I'm just going to trim the ends of my bow at an angle. Just like that. And cut this one a little shorter. Then what I'll do is just mount this onto the front of my card, and I'll just use my ATG gun to do that. A lot of you ask where I get my refills for my ATG. I get mine at copandstick.com. So if you're looking for the ATG refills, that's where I get mine. And I'm just going to go ahead and center this right on the front of my card. Just like that. Fluff up my bow again. And then I'm going to go ahead and just on the bottom here use some foam adhesive to pop up my little sentiment. And that'll be it for my card. Super easy card. Just trying out some of my new Paper Tray ink stamps. So okay, so that's it. That's our card for today. Thanks for watching another episode of Creations with Christina. See you next time. Bye.